Hi everyone, this is 13th June. Time right now is 3:09 a.m. I was not really able to sleep, so now we'll be continuing objects. And those of you who know JavaScript .info, you must be knowing that I'm skipping this part for now because it didn't really seem relevant for now. I will go back to it later on. So objects, I know what objects are. I've done Java, C++, and C, and Python a little bit. So I know what objects are. I'll just go through this quickly. This one is important. Object can be created with curly braces with an optional list of properties. Property is a key value pair, where key is a string, also called a property name, and value can be anything. So, okay. An example object, empty cabinet, can be created using one of two syntaxes. So we have a let user. Let user is equal to new object. Is object a keyword? I believe so. So let user is this. This is an empty object. Usually the curly braces hold up. Are used. That declaration is called an object literal. Literal and properties. We can immediately put some properties into the curly braces as key value pairs. So we have a user, and then we give it a name like John, then age 30. A property has a key. Okay, yeah, the colon, right? We can add, remove, and read files. Sure, user.name because this is the user and this is the name, so we are accessing it using this. Sure. We can delete also. That is good. That is good. We can also use multi-word property names, but then they must be quoted like name is John, age is 30, and likes birds is true, so that makes no sense. Uh, I want to see it being used exactly. Oh, okay, this would give a syntax error. For multi-word properties, the dot access does not work. It thinks that we address user.likes, then gives a syntax error when it comes across unexpected birds. So the dot requires the key to be a valid variable identifier that implies contains no spaces, doesn't start with a digit, that and doesn't include special characters. So this and this are not allowed, and there's an alternative square bracket notation that works with any string. So if I want to access it, I'll just, instead of doing this, I would rather do this. So alert, and then in brackets I just write likes birds inside square brackets, by the way. Then I do the same for delete user and sure. I did miss something over here. Right, the last property in the list may end with a comma, that I know. Hold up. May end with a comma. This did not end with a comma. So the last property is optional, I suppose. It's up to me. This is called a trailing or hanging comma. Makes it easier to add, remove, or move around properties because all lines become alike. So this is an ideal situation. You should add a comma. Okay, got it. I know square brackets now. I know this. So square brackets also provide a way to obtain the property name as the result of any expression as opposed to a literal string, like from a variable as follows. So let key, this is the key. User key is true. That does make sense now. But then the key has to be related to the user, right? So it has to be inside somehow. Anyways, let user name and age, and let key prompt. What do you want to know about the user? Let me just run this. Okay, John. I define what? I want to know his age. 30. Okay, this is the key. I'm supposed to enter the key in the prompt. When I enter the key, I mean the type of key. So let's say that the type of key I entered was age, right? Now I have alert user key, so user age. User age is 30, so it returns 30. Okay, boy, makes sense. Dot notation cannot be used in a similar way. You cannot do this. Okay. We can use square brackets in an object literal when creating an object that's called computed properties. For instance, let fruit is equal to prompt which fruits to buy. An option, we give apple as an option. We have French 5. So anything I enter over here will be stored in fruit, and fruit is stored in this inside bag. I feel like I've been going through the exact same thing again and again. Oh, well, that's a lot. That's a lot. What's the next section? I'm bored already. Hmm. Hmm. This was already shown, but looks nicer. We can use more complex expressions inside square brackets. Wait, you didn't put this under. Oh, Apple plus computers gives me 5. What? Sometimes these things don't make any sense. We often use existing variables as values for property names. For instance, function make user, we pass in name and age. We have return that returns the name and the age, and that's it. Okay, makes sense. Let user make user John and age 30, it returns these two things. So when I do alert is about name, it's triggered. Pretty easy. You can use both normal properties and shorthands in the same object. Okay, same as name. Hmm. As we know, a variable cannot have a name equal to the language reserved words like for, let, return, etc. So Of course not, of course not, and of course not. I know all this. In short, there are no limitations of property names. They can be any strings or symbols. The types are automatically converted to strings. So, for instance, a number 0 becomes a string 0 when used as a property key. It becomes a string. Any number becomes a string. That's weird. So no matter what we do, it's always going to print out test. Test and test. Okay. There's a minor gotcha with a special property named proto. We can't set it to a non-object value. The value as an object didn't work as intended. What does it do? Object. What? Special property named proto. We can't set it to a non-object value. As we see from the code, the assignment to a primitive 5 is ignored. We'll cover the special nature of proto in subsequent chapters and suggest the way to fix such behavior. Property existence test and operator. Notable feature of objects in JavaScript compared to many languages that it's possible to access any property. There will be no error if the property doesn't exist. I like the in thing because it's more useful. There must be a property name. Property name should be a quoted string, like so. Right, for example, as basically n was supposed to be a substitute to undefined, but then n wins at one place where undefined doesn't, and that is when the property name itself contains undefined. And that's when obj.test, it's undefined, right? But when we do test in obj, it should be true because at least test is still existing inside obj, and that is exactly what we see here. To walk over all keys of an object, there exists a special form of the loop for in. This is a completely different thing from the for construct that we studied before. That the syntax is for key in object, it executes the body for each key among object properties. For we have a let I, like we do in C++ or C, so or Java for that matter. User alert key, name age is admin key. Okay, so it gives it John 30 and then true. No, it gives name John. Oh, I think, okay, now it should say age. And now the next one will say 38, 30. Then is admin, then true. I see. So key is printing name, age, and is admin, while user and inside user we have key. So this prints the keys, the value of the keys. John 30 and then true. Okay. Now that for constructs allow us to declare the looping variable inside the loop, like let key here. Also, we could use another variable name here instead of key, for instance, for prop is also widely used. That's obvious. What is that supposed to mean? In other words, if we loop over an object, we do get all properties in the same order they were added. Can we rely on this? Short answer is ordered in a special fashion. Integer properties are sorted, other appear in creation order. The details follow. So when we do that, the code will print. Oh, okay. But how about hmm, prints corresponding to those sorted values? Mm-hmm. On the other hand, if the keys are non-integers, then they are listed in the creation order. So this should print name and then surname. Name, surname. Yep. Is there an age? There is an age. But it's out of... Oh, okay, user.age. Makes sense. So to fix the issue with the phone codes, we can cheat by making the codes non-integer. Adding a plus sign before each code is enough. But before we use the plus sign to convert a string to an integer as far as I remember. So let codes is plus 49, plus 41, plus 44, plus 1. Now this would print in the creation order 49, 41, 44, plus 1, and that's it. Now it works as intended. Okay, I've done objects now. Man, I want to sleep now. Objects are stored and copied by reference, whereas primitive values, strings, numbers, and booleans are always copied as a whole value. Easy to understand if you look a bit under the hood of what happens when we code a value, copy a value. As a result, we have two different variables, each one storing the string hello. Yep. Okay. Object is stored somewhere in memory at the right of the picture, while the user variable left has reference to it. Tomorrow, I mean, in a few hours, I will complete the rest of the video. Good night, I mean, good morning for now. I'm super sleepy. Goodbye.